Inojin makes friends with a creepy yet adorable golem creature, Boruto and his friends visit Hidden Stone Village, and Onoki reveals that he's part of a shocking plot twist. Greetings, my fellow ninja pals. It's time to take a look at another couple episodes of Boruto Naruto Next Generations. That's right, I'm going to be talking about two episodes today, episodes 81 and 82. And my review of 81 is going to be very brief because I have to be perfectly honest with you guys. I didn't like episode 81 at all. I felt it was completely unnecessary to the plot of this entire arc. It was an episode that felt like it was just padding out for time. A lot of that had to do with its A story. Its B story I actually enjoyed, and I'll get to that in a second, but most of the episode revolves around the fact that Boruto is sort of hidden within this weird dimension of his mind, where he's having doubts about being able to save Mitsuki, and throughout this entire sequence of events, he actually believes that he's hanging out with Mitsuki in Konoha Village, just doing what they always do and palling it up. The problem is, Garaga is following him at every turn and is threatening to devour him, considering that he failed in his mission to bring Mitsuki back. Basically, this entire scene is just a big, heavy metaphor for Garaga trying to get Boruto to give up. But Boruto's not going to give up. This is something that we've known throughout this entire arc. Whenever anything gets in his way, when one of his friends try to attack him, whenever they try to stop him from going after Mitsuki, he does not falter. So this entire scene felt kind of unnecessary. The good thing is, it's supplemented by an amazing B story with Inojin meeting this little Akuta. Yes, one of those weird stone warriors which are created by Lord Ku. And unlike the ones that we've actually seen, this one is very small and somehow kind of adorable at the same time. It even has bunny ears. How could you not like this thing? The reason that it's so cute is because it is just extremely attached to Inojin. It is constantly wanting to play with him and hold his hand, almost like a small little child. And it makes these adorable noises, and like I said, looking into its eyes, its one glowing red eye, and its broken mask, it looks pretty terrifying, but somehow this thing actually manages to be adorable, and because Inojin is always having to be paired up with all of these ridiculous creatures, which I think is going to be something of a running joke through the series, he's the one who's going to have to look after him, reluctantly so. And most of the episode follows them as he's trying to understand what this thing is and why it even exists in the first place and why it's so obsessed with him, watching it interact with nature and trying to basically transform it into a house pet. It's funny, it's ridiculous, and to me, honestly, it's the only good thing about episode 81. Episode 82, however, is significantly better in every single way. They continue the whole storyline with Inojin and the Akuta, and again, it continues to be adorable, but most of the episode follows Boruto and his team as they go into the Hidden Stone Village. And this is one of the few times that we've actually been able to go through the streets of Hidden Stone, which is awesome. It's basically just like Konoha Village, except that maybe it's a little more bustling, and because we're in Hidden Stone, everything looks like a fucking rock. One thing that I did find interesting is that it was very easy for Boruto and his friends to actually sneak into Hidden Stone Village. This might actually be intentional, as if they were actually being lured in by some sort of unknown force, but basically the security is nowhere near as tight as Konoha Village's, as they find these two big pipes that lead directly into the village, allowing them to just sneak in. They remove their headbands, they put on some cloaks, and they have officially assimilated into the Hidden Stone Village. Now, what is interesting is that Kuratsuchi is now been kidnapped by Lord Ku, and there's actually no chaos in the streets. Everything seems to be running normally, as if someone behind the shadows is pulling the strings and actually controlling everything. More on that later. While Boruto and his friends are going around the village and doing everything they can to actually quiet Chocho's thunderous, loud stomach growling, we get to go back to Konoha Village, where Konohamaru desperately wants to go and take care of this himself. He has a personal stake in all of this, of not only being able to bring his team back, but also reuniting with Mitsuki. Naruto decides that he's going to allow him to go, as long as he realizes the consequences of this mission and what it could possibly result in. But you can tell that Naruto does have a lot of faith in his young follower. Konohamaru decides to don a Anbu-like costume as he goes off to the Hidden Stone Village. I love the way that Konohamaru actually looks in his cloak and in his mask. It's a pretty awesome look for the character, although I think it's a little foolhardy that he did not take off his ninja headband. He wants to not be caught in this village, and the first thing that he should probably do is take off the thing that has has a big Konoha symbol on it. Even Boruto and his friends decide to take off their headbands. I just think that was a little bit of an amateur move from him. I don't care that he's using a mask. He needs to take the damn thing off. That being said, I can't wait to see Konohamaru in action. When we go back to the Hidden Stone Village, we get to see that Boruto and his friends are actually trying to find Onoki. He's the only one who's going to be able to help them out, and they'll be able to get some information as to possibly where Mitsuki could be with this mysterious Hidden Stone group. And they actually end up learning about this by going to this restaurant where they're almost caught by this old man who has like an Inoki-themed restaurant. Everything inside of it has like a goofy Inoki face to it, and honestly, it made me laugh my ass off. But what's really great about this scene is that this old man clearly knows that these people are from out of town, and they reluctantly have to let him know that that is the case. But they're able to butter him up by ordering a lot of food, and even Shikadai is able to very cleverly actually get some information out of him about where Inoki actually lives. What I love about this scene is that it firmly establishes yet again that being a ninja doesn't just mean being able to throw a shuriken into someone's face. It means being able to basically transform into another person, whether quite physically with a jutsu ability, or to manipulate people with the power of the mind. When they arrive at Inoki's home, they're suddenly caught by Akatsuchi, who manages to trap them in one of his jutsus, and what I love here is that they firmly establish yet again that this guy is one big son of a bitch. I love when he's walking towards Boruto, you actually get to see that he's so large and imposing that they can't even keep him in the frame. It's hilarious. But of course, he was expecting them to arrive. He's heard a lot about them from Inoki and decides to actually bring them directly to him. Now, this is probably the best part of the entire episode, as it features a major plot twist. So they finally meet Inoki, who's hanging out on his veranda staring out at the sun, which admittedly is very beautiful, and Boruto is reunited with his brand new old friend, which seems to elate Inoki quite a bit. He's very happy to actually see him and is impressed that he actually made it this far. However, when Boruto starts to dig a little deeper and try to get some information about what's really going on here with Mitsuki and how this relates to Kuratsuchi disappearing, suddenly Inoki becomes a little dismissive and he decides that he's not going to help them, and he leaves. Right as this is happening, suddenly all of these Akuta emerge from the ground and start to capture them. That's when Lord Ku makes his appearance, and it turns out that he's not here actually to take out Inoki, but he's actually working for him directly. In fact, he has an even closer relation to Inoki. Lord Ku is none other than Inoki's son. And if you don't believe it, just look at his face. Only he could have inherited that giant Wario-styled nose. So this begs a lot of interesting questions, and we're going to find out a little bit more about that in the rundown of this episode of Boruto. Like I said, 81... I just don't have that much to say about that episode. I felt it was just there padding for time. You might like it, and if that's the case, that's alright. For me, it was a painfully average episode, which is why I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. I'm done with that one. 82 is where it's at. The best thing about this episode has got to be the big revelation at the very end that Inoki not only has a son, but he's the one who is sort of staging this massive coup d'etat on the village. For some reason, the final shot of Inoki staring at Boruto with this evil look on his face, this is the type of thing that I was waiting to see. Something that would completely catch me by surprise. Inoki is planning some sort of revolution in the Hidden Stone Village. Whether he's being manipulated by his son or not is hard to say, and how this is ultimately going to relate to his grandson, I think is going to be one of the biggest deals here. There is a reason why, in the last arc of the series, Boruto and Inoki met each other, and he mentioned his grandson. This is almost certainly going to be connected to Lord Ku in some sense. And Ku being the son of Inoki, that's a pretty big freaking deal. I didn't even know that he had a son, or if they even brought it up in this series at all, and it was a really nice twist to know that they're introducing his character. And I think he might have even inherited Inoki's ability to fly around, as when he makes his appearance, he seems to subtly float down. That moment where he kneels to Inoki, and Inoki has this like evil look on his face, is incredible. But why is Inoki even doing this in the first place? Why would such a revered hero go to these lengths to join what is clearly some really bad people? I can't wait to see how this is all actually going to go down, and I would dare say that this is easily the most interesting episode of this arc thus yet, and it makes me want to learn a little bit more about the history of the Hidden Stone Village, one which has been very mysterious, at least up to this point. I can't sing the praises of episode 82 enough, as it was a great tour through the Hidden Stone Village and getting to see the citizens. There were some funny moments with Chocho's stomach growling, basically getting the attention of everyone. Her stomach growling is so loud, it went over the sound of an entire crowd. That's pretty freaking impressive. That's impressive hunger right there. Really, this is an episode that I just absolutely enjoyed. I love that Boruto's been taking the time to take us to all of these villages that didn't get a lot of showtime in the original series. First it was the Hidden Mist, now we're in Hidden Stone. I hope that we're actually going to have an opportunity to go to all of the various villages. So let's go ahead and put a bow on this review right here. Episode 82, which I really did enjoy. I loved the twist at the end. All the scenes with Inojin and the Akuta are still ridiculous and cute. Everything about this episode just worked for me, and it's got me even more excited to see what's going to happen next. I'm dropping a 5 out of 5 on this one. Yes, it was that good of an episode. If any of you did watch it, make sure to tell me what you thought about it in the comment section below, and what you hope to see from the rest of Boruto Naruto Next Generations. Thank you guys for watching this review. I will see all of you next time, and as always, stay down there, baby.